Going live. You're live. You're live. Yes, notice. It's the widescreen, it's the pan vision. Here, I feel like I need to get up closer here. Um, I'm just going to double check to make sure everything is okay here. Yep, looks good. Yay. All right. You know what? This picture of my own face is far too big for me. So I am decreasing the size of my picture of me so I can increase the legibility of the comments and you're writing in the comments. Regina, hello. McDougs, hello. Let me ask you early on, people, give me a signal in the comments if you can see and hear me. Okay. So let me know if you can see or hear me. Carla Jane, nice to see and hear you. I hope you got my email. Yeah. All right. Good. McDougs. Yep. Erin. Awesome. Erin. Hey, Erin and Carla. I think you guys know each other. Danielle, nice to see you. Laura, Regina. Awesome. Oh, we got a nice little crew here. I find it's easier. Yeah, a little delay. Okay. You know what's funny, Lori? You often have like a little bit of a delay thing there. I can't help but wondering if there's something up with your system, but you know what? Hopefully you can hear me. So there we go. Loud and clear. Now, let me just do this. I'm going to carefully poke the toothpick. Okay, I just wanted to add some more water into my tea. I'm hottening my cup. There we go, Mad Molly. You found me here. Okay, everybody who has just found me here from TikTok, you also might consider, oh, McBobby. Okay, McDougs, thank you. If I don't remember that, please don't hold it against me. I'm really bad at names. I literally was trying to picture. I have a picture of a friend of ours in my head. Gordon. I got to write it down. It was comical. I was laughing at myself. I was trying to make not a lot of light of it. Gordon. Sorry, Gord. It's not he's dead. I wasn't looking up there, but Gordon. I was writing down all the people in my one of the bands my husband's in. I'm like, shit, I can't remember his name. It just means that there's like a little gap. Anywho. Oh, Christine, you're up early for the West Coast. Nice to see you. One of the things I was going to say was people who just tuned in from TikTok. First of all, thank you. Hello. And I'm proud of you because many people have been afraid to go from one channel to the next. When you realize that it's not so bad in this pond where it's just learning a new skill, literally learning how to navigate to Destination Decluttered on YouTube, you've just learned a new skill. Now we're going to be here much like we were on TikTok for the next hour. But the cool thing is that um, there tends to be far fewer people who show up on the YouTube lives. Now I think that's kind of cool because I'm more of a quality versus quantity type of gal. Now again, the situation is the same. I'm here for you, and so I can only be here for you to the extent that you want me to. So what do you need from me? Here, I'll give you some ideas. So first of all, maybe this time slot is just what you need to kind of get you started to get up and doing some decluttering. So maybe just me showing up is kind of like as Kat Roby would say, her scheduled Beth blinders. Maybe me being here chatting with you makes it easier for you to just, listen in the background and, do some stuff. I personally think if it were me, I would be grilling me. I would want to know, I would want to share where I was stuck and get some help. This is what coaching is all about. Now, it's coaching with people around, so we can only get into a certain level. But what you're struggling with also may also be something that somebody else is struggling with. Now, I also know that I tend to be, even though you guys see me on screen and I'm like literally like singing the Alice theme to the world, I am a fairly quiet person in real life. I like small groups of people. I tend to, like, my husband was playing a gig the other night. I was way back at the bar. I'm not the one who's up there dancing, you know? And I just offer this to you because also, if you don't feel comfortable sharing what's going on with you in the comments, I get that. I totally get that. But notice there could be a fear there. And notice that fear can stop you. Shyness is nice, but shyness can stop you from doing all the things in life you'd like to. Yeah, fear will stop you from taking even the next step. Okay? LO is asking, what were those positive series of words you just used on TikTok? Yes, everybody, this is what I would also do too. I am a note taker like nobody's business because I cannot rely on my head to remember a goddamn thing nowadays, except for 70s theme songs, right? Or songs from the 80s, 90s, and beyond. Um, so I write down stuff all the time. It helps me. I swear I think better when I feel safe knowing that if something's important, I can write it down. So I want to offer to you to write some of these things down. Now, what I was talking about, and this is even better, LO, is we can get into it, is this is what I like to do. So we're gonna okay, my pencil is ready. So get your pencil is ready. I've got my pencil, says David Lee Roth. All right. I would also highly recommend on the piece of paper you're writing it down on. Okay. We're going to play, we're playing school, but it's fun school. Fold your paper in half so that you have two columns. Okay. Two columns. All right. And here's what I want to offer you. And I've said this before in different ways: fear on one side, love on the other. Okay. So we're probably familiar with fear. But I want to show you these opposites to realize that there's an opposite. So the opposite of fear is love. So start with those two headers. All right. Here under fear, you'd probably write, you're on fear mode when you're stuck. On one hand, you're stuck. On the other hand, the other good word is started. Okay. And instead of judgment, on one hand, under fear is judgment. The other good word, instead of being judgy, is being curious. Right? Instead of being judgy, you're being curious. Now I'm going to slow down so you can write these things down. I love, Carla Jane, that you noticed that you went to the job interview and you knew it wasn't a good fit. That is such a powerful thing, to not be in fear and I need any job and I don't care, to say, I don't think this is going to work out. So saying no from the beginning. It's like going on a date and being like, this is not going to work out. Stop it before it starts. Okay. Now, where were we? Judgment is fear, curiosity is love. Um, Shame is under fear, understanding is under love. Now, these are just two columns of words that I came up with. You may have a better one. Shame is under fear. I feel ashamed that I'm decluttered. Now I understand better why I'm cluttered. Greed. Greed. Yeah, that's a good one. Greed is under fear, and grateful. Even I would say I grow for grateful. I would say, what's that? Sharing abundant type of thing. Maybe I'm going to write that down. See, abundant. Feeling bad is under fear. Feeling better is under love. If fear makes you feel like it's going to be hard, generous. That's a good one. Yes, I'm going to write that one down too. Thank you, Laura. Generous. Now did I write it? I'm pretty sure I'm going to know what that means. All right. Fear makes things feel overly complicated, but when your nervous system is calmed down and you learn, things become easy. Boring, we talked about that. Boring on the one hand, fun on the other. Overwhelm is a big one on the fear side. Manageable. I can manage this. I can handle this. I'm not feeling overwhelmed and I can do this. Drama tends to be on the fear backseat driver. Composed. I've got this. Confidence, embarrassed is on one side, confident on the other. Sad on one side, joy on the other. You get the idea. For every fearful way you're feeling, I just want you to know there's another way you can be feeling and another word you can be using when you talk to yourself. I hope that helps, LO. Now, Danielle is saying she was trying to declutter her plant stuff, but I do have too much. So notice, too much is clutter. Just the right amount for me is like the opposite of that. Okay. Okay. So Patty M is saying, I feel like I'm chugging along and have everything in control. And then I have freeze, sneak up and grind me to a halt and derailed. First of all, I love the train metaphor right there. You're chugging along. Choo choo Charlie was an engineer, right? It's all under control. And then freeze snuck up on you. So the freeze would be under the fear. Makes sense. Fear, flight or flight, fight or flight or freeze. What I would do, Patty, is I know the feeling is hard to explain, but try to explain it to yourself. Get curious, as Laura says. And what I would do is I would kind of be like, I was thinking of Nancy Drew this morning, Perry Mason and Nancy Drew. I would kind of go back to the scene of the crime. Do you remember when was the most recent time that happened? Do you remember what was going on? Can you relive that? Can you describe it to yourself and write it down? You can put it in the comments, which is writing down, and that can help in this situation, but also writing it down for yourself. And I say this to everybody. Notice the last time you had a feeling that you didn't particularly care for, that didn't make you feel good. What were the surroundings? What was the situation? How did you get there? What was going on when you felt that way? Now, sometimes, as one of my one on one clients and I like to say, sometimes all I need is a snack and a nap if I was cranky, you know? And maybe I was physically spent. Maybe I was, what was the reason? What could possibly be the reason? Not like I know exactly what the reason is. What are some reasons that I could have frozen? Maybe I was out of gas. Maybe, okay, if we're doing like a train metaphor, maybe there was no coal left to shovel into because I'm picturing one of those old-timey trains. There was no coal left. So the train kind of ground to a halt because I had no energy. Okay. Um, Sometimes my energy to make decisions, I'm just done. My decision making tank is empty. So I need to stop and I need to refill it. Other times, maybe somebody said something and those words made me feel a certain way. It happens. If you are a human, you feel feelings. If you don't feel feelings, you might want to check to see if you're a robot. Okay. And what I offer is you are given feelings for a reason. Knowing how to live with them, learning better how to manage your feelings. What was the opposite of manage here? I had manage there some overwhelm, feeling overwhelmed. I can handle this. I can handle feeling this discomfort for the greater good of myself. Kind of like it's not the most pleasant when somebody's at the dentist and they're prying around, but you're doing that so that you can eat food more comfortably for the rest of your life. So part of decluttering is going to be feeling feelings. You won't be feeling the same feelings all the time. And sometimes it's going to be like, no big deal, whatever. We try to increase the amount of no big deal feelings. It's just something I do. I love that feeling, especially when I compare it to the way I used to feel about something. Taxes, cleaning my room. I still have resentment probably from when I was in seventh grade, eighth grade, and I wanted to walk downtown with my girlfriends and go try on, lip glosses and, drink a soda at Friendlies and, go check out the smells of the Bonnie Bells and all that. I wanted to do that. My parents were like, well, no, you have to do your chores first. So some of us may still be resentful that we have to clean up our own houses. The thing of it is that if we don't clean up our own houses, nobody's going to do it for us. That's not to say that if you live with people, and I'm serious about this, if you live with other people and other people live in that house, then those other people need to participate in the decluttering maintenance. Okay? Now, okay, Patty, I love that you wrote something because notice you're getting in tune. You're listening to yourself. You're getting curious and you're looking at what went on. It varies, I think. I was handling one thing, finishing it up, and thinking of other things that needed to be done. Some related to what was being finished up, rest not, but needing to do in the future. Okay, so notice you tended to lose focus on what was right in front of you. Happens all the time. We live in the most distracted, I swear to God, we live in the most distracted generation and era of humanity because of the internet and all sorts of things, and the fact that we carry our phones around with us all the time. Now, sometimes distraction can be good because it reminds you to do something, but also if you're finishing up something, did you finish it up? When you freeze, if you're thinking of all the things that need to be done, that need to be done in the future, I highly recommend what you think, write it down. Get your thoughts out of your head down onto paper. Notice I use that word down a lot. If anybody wants to play along with the drinking water every time I say things, how about the word of the day, like Pee Wee's Playhouse, is down? Now, I don't want to drown you, so you need to do things chunked down, a sip at a time. But notice writing down is something you can do. And I will guarantee that you will feel even a little bit better when you get your thoughts out of your head down onto paper. Now, the down onto paper is not the end, that's just the beginning of something, but you will feel better not worrying that you have to remember everything up in your head, you know? Now, Kimmy says, does anyone ever think that in older age they may want an apartment with less maintenance? Sure, they do. I do, and I live in a small house. But you know who thinks about that, Kimmy? You do, because you just wrote it. So, ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, who the heck wants to maintain things anymore? I barely want to maintain what I have, but I want to spend my time doing other things. So, notice that what you're thinking. Notice what you're thinking about a lot of things. But let's just keep it to clutter, right? So you're thinking maybe I want to move someday to a place that doesn't require so much of my time and energy to keep it maintained, to have it be where the way I want it to be, to maintain this level of cleanliness, organization, decluttering. Decluttering will help you get to that apartment. Decluttering will help you fit just the things you want in that apartment. Decluttering helps you prep for that. And also, when you learn to declutter, you will learn to maintain that small apartment. Now, here's a funny thing. I talk openly about the fact that I grew up with people who saved things because they didn't grow up with a lot of money. Even when you have money, you may still have those habits. I think of a one-bedroom apartment, and I think of the apartment that was literally I was reading about it the other day, the apartment complex that my great aunt and uncle lived in because he was in World War II, and this was veterans apartments. So they moved in there in 1940 something, and she died out of there in 19 no, in like 2001, I think. Yeah. She lived there her entire life. It was a one-bedroom apartment. You can cram a lot of stuff into a one-bedroom apartment. It looked good on the surface, but man, you went into the storage, and I swear I used to joke that every time somebody came over and they said, "Can I get you anything?" She said, "Yes, can you get me a can of collagen chicken broth and a can of tuna fish?" Because she had a pantry kind of area underneath the stairs that was right across from the tiny little kitchen in this tiny little veterans apartment. And I cannot tell you how many cans of tuna fish and chicken broth that she had under there. So I offer to you, learn how to declutter now. It will make getting older easier. Yeah, Kimmy is saying, I've seen too many older people with too much stuff. Yes. Is that the kind of old person you want to be? It's not the kind of old person I want to be. That's why I'm starting now in my 50s, decluttering my own stuff. Also knowing that when my mother dies, my siblings and I will have to deal with that stuff. So I'm dealing with it now so I don't have to do it when I'm 10 years older. Because when I am 10 years older, I'm going to be more tired and have less energy and less stamina than I do now. So Gina says I am that old person. Cool. Do you still want to be that person, Gina? You don't have to. Just because you are that way now doesn't mean you can change. You doesn't mean you can't change. That's like a double negative. You can change. How's that? If you don't want to be that person, then notice what you did to get you there and do the opposite. It can really be, seriously, you guys, it can really be that simple. You have habits of thinking. You have habits of thinking and feeling. You have habits of thinking and feeling that cause you to do things. And you also have habitual way of moving through the world. I have the habit of running into the house and dumping my stuff on the washer and dryer and then making a U-turn into the bathroom to pee. But I have tightened up the time that after I pee and I feel better physically. Notice it comes back to starting with your physical feeling. When I feel better, it's easier for me to hang up my coat, put the keys there, unpack the bag, throw away the receipt, put things away. But when I try to do it when I'm crossing my legs and dancing up and down because I have to pee, it's not as easy. Notice your habits. Don't judge yourself. Get curious. How did that um, counter get so messy? And be Nancy Drew. You know what I think happened? I see the evidence. I see clues all around. How did this? Well, I see some crumbs. Well, we didn't wipe down the crumbs when we made toast. And that's the stuff that we ate for dinner and we didn't put it away yet. Yet. You can change. I'm here to teach you how to change. If you're like, but I don't know, when you don't know something, you can learn it. Whether you want to or not, that want is going to be up to you. There are resources available. If you want to change, you can. And one of the things that I want to offer to you that changed it for me, that I really realized was I'll go back to why I call, and I'm moving my head here, destination decluttered, this road trip kind of metaphor behind me, is I've written books. They're right behind me. Three of the five are right there. Some of them out of print. They're all out of print now. On road tripping. I know how to plan a good trip, a good road trip where you enjoy the journey and the destination. And I remembered saying to myself at one point, I can plan such a good road trip. Why the F can't I plan my life like a road trip? And then my co pilot, my voice inside me said, I don't know. Why not? Kind of being sassy, but lovingly sassy. What would you do if you planned your life like a road trip? So that was a thought, that was a question that I asked myself, and I came up with some answers. So I offer that question for you to ask yourself. If it was a road trip, you would start with the end in mind, as the guy says in that book. You would start with the destination, a trip to somewhere. Where are you going? If it's a road trip, it's going to be a place that you're excited to get to. So ask yourself, are you excited about what's ahead? Are you excitedly heading somewhere? If the answer is no, then let's pick a destination. And let's pick a destination and let's just for shits and giggles, we're going to call it Destination Decluttered. Because if you want your home decluttered, Destination Decluttered sounds like, in theory, a good place to have. But you know what? Maybe that doesn't have a lot of zhuzh in it. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of sparkle, a lot of glitter, a lot of, you know, movement. It's not compelling you. So, how will having a decluttered home benefit you? The old what's in it for me? And answer what's in it for me? How will having a decluttered home make my life better? That's a question. I give you the question to ask yourself. I highly recommend writing down the question. You may not be able to answer it while I'm chitter chattering with you here for now and until the next, half hour, 35 minutes or so. Write down these questions so you can ask them of yourself when you are quiet, when you've turned down the volume, you've quieted down, you've given yourself some time to think about it. Get excited about where you're going. If you're not excited about where you're going, pick another destination. If Destination Decluttered doesn't just have that, let's go to Vegas type of thing, how can you zhuzh it up and realize that there is a benefit to you on so many ways? Your mood, your mental health, your physical health, your relationships, how you spend your time, how you spend your money, how you spend your energy. All of those things are affected by your cluttered home. Write those down. Notice how those things are affected by your clutter. And don't just focus on how it is now, but let's start to paint the picture of what that destination is, and I know you can get there. Okay? Now, Robin, I get what where you're coming from, but this is I love that you shared this. So Robin says, I spent Sunday decorating my mom's area in her nursing home. Just a little area. I took out 3 large bags of trash. She was so mad at me, but it had to be done. She was hoarding food and it was bad. Yeah. Yeah, there's a generation that's older than us that we are going to be taking care of, many of us, that never looked inward, that they are running off of an operating system that is decades old. I bet they have food in that nursing home. I bet she has more than enough access to more than enough food in her current situation, but she's not living in the present. She's living because in the past and in fear of the future. She knows what it's like to not have food. And so she is making herself feel safe and trying to make herself feel better for fear that there may be another time in her life where there is no food. Yeah. Now, what I want to offer to you, and I say this to you and your mom, and me and my mom, and anybody else here, first of all, notice that's how they are. Notice that they are not trying to change themselves, but you can change yourself. You don't have to be that kind of person, but also, you will probably not change your mom. You will do things for her that you know is a good intention, but she may not take it that way. That's why I said to you earlier, maybe it was on the TikTok, I can't remember. I am not decluttering with my mother. I am basically decluttering her home with her permission. And it has taken me 80 years of her life. How old would I have been? 50 plus years of my life of offering help, doing it and not lasting, where she finally said, yeah, I think I could use some help. Am I changing my mother? Am I coaching her? Am I trying to? I tried at the very beginning to at least clue her into the MO that I was using, these things that I share with you. And she said, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But no, she had 80 years of habitually thinking and acting that she did not want to change. It was going to take too much effort than she wanted to do. Okay. So, yes, Judy Dukes, or it's something she feels she can control in the nursing home. Right. I want to be able to have food whenever I want to, not just when they say dinner is, you know? So, notice that lack of control you may feel as an old person. But what I want to offer to you is we have a hard enough time changing ourselves. It is near impossible to change somebody else. All you can do is change yourself. And I say this too because when you change yourself, you will also change how you think and feel about your mother's situation. I know I get frustrated with her, I'm not going to lie, but I am also more patient, more kind, more tolerant, more understanding. I get where she's coming from. And I look at her through the eyes of love as opposed to hate and fear and resentment. I look at her and I get it. She's just another person on the planet dealing with the cards she was dealt with, dealing with the way her brain is, the stories in her life. And so we have the opportunity to do different. Other people look outward and blame the world for their situation. The only way you can change it is by looking inward. Okay? Yeah. And Patty, I love that you're talking to yourself like that. Focus. Breathe. Yeah, breathing. Breathing is a game changer. You don't have to do it all at once. No, all or nothing. We don't do that here. Perfection? Nope. You are not behind because this is not a race. A road trip is not a race. You are driving along at a pace that feels good to you to a destination you're going to. And when the pace feels good, you enjoy the ride. Excuse me, the drive, because you're the driver. And when you enjoy the drive, both the journey and the destination feel good. Yeah, stop, finish, one time at a time. I love that. If I were you, I would write that down because the things you say to yourself Say them over and over again, the things that make you feel better. And basically, even the act of writing something down slows down. I hope people are getting hydrated. Even the act of writing something down slows down your body, your brain, and your nervous system because your physical body cannot write as quickly as your brain can speak. You can't write things down legibly and in complete sentences unless you slow down to do it. Now, some people say, I don't have time. I don't have time. Notice that. As I said yesterday, avoid this at your peril. But the more you avoid doing this, the longer you're living in the way you don't want to be. And the sooner you start this, the more you're starting on a different road heading to a better direction. I would not offer this up if I didn't do it myself and reap the benefits. To know that this works and to show up, and repetition is a tool in your toolkit. I have notes galore of when I was actively getting in touch. Now, I don't do this as often because I don't need to, because as I like to call it, my backseat drivers do not pop up as often as they used to. So I don't need to quiet them down. I'm pretty much driving through life, cruising along. I don't know, maybe you see that in how I show up. I show up kind of light and fun. I have shit to do. Yeah, but I don't make a big deal of it. I get it done, but that's not how I always have been. Yeah, I get it done. And then I focus on what kind of fun do I want to make happen. I just put into place yesterday, I planted some seeds for a fun thing for the summer of 2026. Yeah, this is what I do. Oh, that sounds like fun. How can I make that happen? I love that feeling. Ooh, I can make good stuff happen. And when good stuff happens, I will say to my husband, look at this cool stuff I made happen. Look at this. Isn't this fun? Isn't this fun? This life we're living. And then he says, look at this thing I made fun. We're going to Ireland in 6 hours. You can do things differently in your life and get a different result. And yeah, Patty M says, funny how we add so much emotion to it. Uh-huh. Yeah, we do. We're emotional creatures, and emotion, it's just emotion that's taking me over. Emotion is good in some times, but other times it just gets in the way of getting it done. When you're in an emotional state, you are spending more energy. You are being energy inefficient. You are using more gas. You are using more time. You are using more time and energy to get something done that really needs it. That's the thing. Actually, Patty M says, I want your playlist. Patty, you're on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, right? There's a link to the Spotify playlist right there. And here, you know what? I'm going to write down to add emotion by Samantha Sang, I think her name was, with the Bee Gees. Okay. Um, Emotion. Okay. So it's on there. Seriously, I'm looking at the page right now. Let me look at it. It says it's right above the TV Guide logo, and it says, listen, Destination Decluttered Tunes playlist on Spotify. I think you can click on that and it'll just open it up. Okay. Now, emotions are good at times, but emotions use up valuable energy. Each one of us has a finite amount of energy throughout the day. Use your energy wisely. Where can I focus my focus and energy where it's going to do the most good for me? If I tend to get distracted by stuff and, oh my God, can you believe Kim Jenner's face? Oh my God, that's crazy. Would I do that? Oh, that's nutty. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You have just used some energy distracted from, and you have your gas tank is that less. Notice what you focus on. You can change that. You can put your blinders on. You can say, oh, I noticed myself getting distracted. Nope. I'm going to practice refocusing. And then after you've focused for a while, you can also choose to stop focusing and then go walk around the house and move around to get a drink of water. Practice. But notice that's shifting gears. It's all or nothing. Yeah, Robin, I have to make a master list and chunk it down to a list within the list. Yep, exactly. I say exactly because that's what I do too, and I highly recommend. Chunk it down. Your master list, chunk it down even further. What needs to be done in each area. An area is a chunk. If I don't do it, the squirrels take over and I finish nothing. Yeah. You can do it and you get stuff done, or if you don't do it, it's more likely the squirrels are going to take over and you're going to end up at 9 p.m. tonight going, what did I do? What evidence do I have to show of me moving forward today? Did I move forward in the direction that I wanted, or did I sit there spinning my wheels just looking at TikTok? Now I look at TikTok like the best of them, right? But I do that at the end of the day after I've gotten good stuff done. Or I need a little pick me up throughout the day. But I notice when I'm starting to focus too much on that and I stop and then I say, because I've written it down, what else? Now, here's a fun thing. Kelly Smith, I'm glad you asked about this. Kelly Smith is saying, have you done a Trello class yet? I have not. And here's a good reason why I haven't. I had it written down for May. And then I got a notification from the company that runs. So, Trello, if anybody knows, it's just really, it's pretty simple. You can look at it yourself, and it's just a way of making lists online. And you can look at these lists on your computer, or you can look at these lists on your phone. I haven't done that because they have upgraded it. So I need to see what the changes are. But what I want to offer to you is even if I haven't done a Trello thing yet, you can do the same thing with paper. You can make columns on a paper. My columns on Trello are, I have one that's a catch all, then I have one health, money, things to buy, clothing. You know, you can put a column for each room of your house. You can write down when you go to that room, what are some things that you would do to declutter it? When you do it, you can cross it off. Now, the only thing that Trello gives you is that flexibility of moving things up and down and shuffling them around and also being able to have it on your phone. But you can also send yourself an email, text you something, say, put this on my paper list. So I haven't done it. I may do it in June, but today, honest to God, I think you guys will appreciate my focus on my business is going to be winding down because I'm only going to be doing this for the next 20 minutes or so. Then I'm going to be shifting gears to look and say, okay, what do I need to do before I leave the country? Next week when I return, then I'm going to be on the other side of this trip and then I can see ahead of me, oh, June starts next week. What does my June look like? Oh, it looks pretty open. Much more open than these past few months. Maybe I'll do it then. Yeah. So, writing things down, whether it's on your computer or paper. I like the paper a lot more. LO says a big Trello has been a big help for me. Awesome. Kelly Smith, seriously, you could even just download it or go to it. I don't even know how you do it anymore, but you can start play around with it yourself. Make a, what do they call it? I think they call it a card. No, what does it say? A list. Start a list, put some cards on it. The cards are going to be this thing, that thing, the other thing. Play around with it. You don't need my permission to do it. And is other help out there. Don't let my inactivity stop you from moving forward. Okay? So I give you that permission and I give you that encouragement that you can still do these things even if I have not done my official, Trello kind of training type of thing. I also do this to set you up for when I'm gone later today and then tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, etc., until I'm back. Is there are resources available to you at all times. Not just my resources, but resources, um, what do you call it? Of from other people too. So if you don't know how to do something, the Funk and Wagnalls is the internet. You can find out how to do it. If you like how I do it, there are 710. By the end of today, there will be 711 videos that you can listen to and watch that are going to help you. And it's as simple as sitting down, quieting down, calming down, writing down, chunking down, and then getting into gear and doing it. Now, the getting into gear part is going to be focusing on the destination and seeing what's in it for me and kind of warming up your engine. Ooh, now I want to do that. Now I want to declutter because I get a benefit from this. If I don't see the benefit in something, I'm not going to do it. How does this benefit me? And I'm not being greedy when I say that. Like, how does it benefit me to pay taxes? It benefits me knowing that other people that I don't even know that don't have food can get food stamps. I feel good knowing that my tax money goes to people who are starving. I don't care why they're starving. If they're hungry, I feel good letting them have a peanut butter sandwich. I don't mind paying my taxes because I like driving over bridges that are not going to fall down. I like paying my taxes because I want them to find solutions to these diseases that are killing people we love. I think it's greedy I think people who are greedy are mean and selfish, and I don't want to be mean or selfish. So I feel good about what I'm doing. I'm grateful that I make enough money to pay taxes. So notice, you can be resentful. I can't believe it. Somebody else is getting something. You know who makes us all pissed off about paying taxes? It's not the people who pay the taxes. It's the billionaires that will never pay the taxes. And you know who's going to be paying more taxes? Because of them, not because of the poor people. They're getting us all riled up down here while they're just eating gravy. Now, I digress. I'll get back on track. But there's truth in that in our hills. Patty M says, well, first of all, Robin says, I find listening to past lives while I'm cleaning helps me stay focused and tames the squirrels. Yeah, even the squirrels are sitting there going, "Ooh, what does she have to say? Oh, listen. God knows, we never know what she's going to do yet. She might break out into song." Notice when you can stay focused, you're going to get stuff done. So think of it as a podcast. Think of it as something you do. And even listening to it live is helping you declutter. Now, Patty says things don't seem to get done fast enough. Fast enough for who? Or farther along in the road trip. This is why I talked about the pace with which you drive, the speed limit. Not the speed limit, but the pace you're actually driving. And here's where the cold hard truth of being an aging human on the planet is going to come in. Yes, you are right. As we age, we move slowly. We move more slowly than we did when we were younger. It takes us longer to do the same amount of stuff. So, knowing that, you can do things to try to pep yourself up. At the same time, though, I think the better thing is to also recognize that moving forward at a pace that feels good to you is more sustainable, and to feel good about what you got done instead of focusing on what you didn't get done. I still love this. The enough is curious to me. Things don't seem to get done fast enough. Enough to me sounds kind of judgy, like somebody's judging you to say, nope, that's not good enough. You should have been here. Who is judging you? I think it's your backseat driver. And your backseat driver may be your voice. It could be the voice of somebody else. That's a competition. There's winners and losers, all or nothing. Not enough. You should have gotten here. Did you notice when somebody said, how's the basement going? I said, we're not there yet, but we are closer than we ever have been to getting it done. Doesn't that sound like a nicer way to talk to yourself? I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way and I'm having a good time while I'm getting there. I am not getting agita. I'm not getting worked up about the basement. It's going to get done. I'm not getting worked up about this clutter that's around me because of the basement, because I know it's temporary. So notice my comfort, my control over my emotions. I am not allowing the situation to activate, trigger my emotions. And I love not being triggered into emotion like that. And when I am triggered by emotion, I say, what is this emotion? What can I do with this feeling? And I will share with you when I get triggered into emotion, I see things going out in the real world. I donate money to causes that will help people that are underprivileged. That's how I do it. I don't engage in arguments. No. No, I donate my time and energy to people that have it off worse than me. I don't try to change anybody else's mind. I change what I do, and I lead by example. And I notice the fear in other people when they're emotional, that they're out of control of their emotions, you know? Now, Patty says, clean enough for me, but it's my mom. Well, she's not with us anymore on the physical planet. She's with you all the time. Everybody you know lives in your heart. The people that are still here on the planet, the people whose spirits still live on, but their bodies are in a box. You know, she never said a word. Sometimes you don't need to see a word. Have you ever seen an eyebrow and a side eye and an up and down? Judginess doesn't need words. I can judge you. I'm s- I'm quietly judging you. Did I just say a word? No, I didn't have to. Our bodies communicate as well. My husband used to joke when I was young that we cleaned a clean house every Saturday. Yeah. So you have a habit of saying it's not enough. The house is clean, but it's not clean enough. Just notice that. Oh, isn't this interesting? God, that's my mother's voice in my head. Yeah. Anytime my mother has like so many like phrases and stuff that I know when I'm talking like my mother. And I own it. And I think it's fun. And I think it's funny. It's the good stuff. And when I catch myself saying something that she may have said that is not so nice, I catch myself. I stop and I stop it and I let it die. I do not reinforce that way of saying something. And man, I love her. Wicked judgy, wicked judgy. She's probably judging me right now for saying it, but it's true, right? So I catch myself and I stop those words from coming out of my head. And when they're there, I rewrite them. You know what? My knees aren't elephant knees. They bend, they help me move. I love my knees. I am so grateful. There are people who do not have knees. I don't really care how my knees look. If I'm starting to care how my knees look and the fact that gravity is taking over, I'm in for a real treat for the next decades of my life because gravity is just pulling me down, right? So how about instead not focusing on my knees and how they look, but how about how they function? How about being appreciative that I have them? How about loving my knees? How about loving my fingers instead of Flintstone fingers? I have wonderful fingers that, yes, I don't type well. That's okay. I don't have pretty nails. That's okay. Notice the difference between judginess and non judginess. That's all right. I love you the way you are. I love you just the way you are. You are awesome just the way you are. You don't need to change a thing unless you want to. And if you want to change something, have at it. Now, I change things in my life and I keep some things the same. And it's working out. And different things require different changes. But just think about that. You have control, you know? Um, I love it. Again, Robin Schroeder, notice the good stories you're telling yourself. Some days I set myself up with, I will tell myself to get done what I can during one video. Yeah, notice a video can be a unit of measure. Now, this unit of measure that's live right now on Wednesday, May 21st at 9:49 a.m. Eastern Time has been going on for almost 50 minutes, and we've got about 11 minutes left. So, notice getting done something in 50 minutes and having this be your measurer, your time measure when the video is over, I will stop. Awesome. That is a tool in your toolkit. And you say, and if that's all I do, it's okay. Notice you got something done. When you try to do too much, sometimes you don't start at all. Finding the things that you can say to yourself and the tools you can use to get yourself started is the hardest part of the whole road trip is just getting yourself started, finding a place to point towards. And then if you just show up every day and you get started and you get started and started every day, you're going to be a little bit closer. I got to point the right way. Closer, 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 closer. You will get there. And if you do it right, you will enjoy the journey. Will every day be sunny? No. Sometimes it's going to rain. Sometimes there's going to be turbulence. Sometimes you're going to hit a dead end by accident. So you back up and you keep on going. Yeah. I still made progress, even if it's not finished. Notice that. I'm going to do it for this amount of time. I'm going to be happy for what I got done with this amount of time. And that's okay. I made progress. Progress. You're progressing towards your destination. The only time you do not make progress is when you're not moving at all. And even when your body is not moving, decluttering, if you are sitting down with a pen and paper, your brain is moving. And if your hand is moving, you are making progress when you're writing down the stuff that you want to do, have to do, etc. Yeah. Now, Robin says, I get overwhelmed very easy. Notice that. Notice that. I used to, and it has taken me practice to calm down my nervous system. So I offer that. When you start to feel, it's almost like when a headache is coming on or a cold. Do you feel the symptoms coming on before it's full blown overwhelm? Write down how you know when you're starting to feel overwhelmed. Is it a tightness in your chest? Is it a slowing down of what you're doing? Is it a sinking feeling in your shoulders? Is it, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I'm backing away from that big thing? Write those things down so you know that the next time you start to feel those things, you can be like, ooh, you know what? These are the symptoms of overwhelm. And if I ignore them, I'm going to get into full blown migraineville. But if I know them now, what can I do? And this is where get your hydration. I can stop. I can quiet down my nervous system. I can stop and I can overcome the overwhelm. I can chunk down the overwhelm. Over my head. So let's take whatever is over my head and move it down beneath my heart and just look at it and realize that big thing is made of just a bunch of little things. Okay? So notice that you have in the past, even here's the thing, here's a tool you can use. All the things that you currently do that you don't like doing, talk about them as if they used to happen back in the day and they don't happen anymore. I used to get so overwhelmed. Now I don't. Now instead, I do this. I sit down, I slow down, I calm down, I notice, I breathe, I write down, I quiet down, I rest, I get curious, you know? Oh, now, I love it. Judy Dukes is saying, your words help in so many areas of life, not just decluttering my home. Thank you, Beth. You're welcome. And I love it because Carla Jane and I were emailing this morning because she and I work together doing clutter. And she says, can I get deep for just a sec, please? Beth said this morning in an email, sometimes the brain declutter is still declutter. Oh, and let me reassure you, Carla Jane, all the time. If you declutter your brain and you feel better, you're calming down your nervous system. You will then be more easily able to declutter your home. But starting with your physical health and your mental health. And your mental health is your brain and your nervous system, like 2 minutes in one. Yeah. Decluttering your brain, sorting out your life, sorting out your thoughts, noticing the thoughts that make you feel good and thinking more of them. Noticing and sorting out the thoughts that don't make you feel good and say, why do I keep on talking to myself like that? Why do I keep on thinking I can't do that? Why am I afraid to stop? Why am I afraid to start? What am I afraid is going to happen? Get curious and listen to yourself. I love it. Can I share with you? Sometimes I feel like, and I've experimented this before, and it doesn't work the way I want it to. But I will often say to my clients, I listen to them. Sometimes they don't listen to themselves, and sometimes you can't really hear what you're saying because you're articulating it maybe for the first time. That's why I'm there to catch the thoughts and say, do you realize what you just said? You have the answer in you. Kind of like Kiki D and Elton John. No, that's not go Don't Go Break My Heart. I've got the music in me. You have the answers in you. Get used to listening, allowing yourself to speak, and not just from the backseat driver, but from your co-pilot. Yeah. Get curious, you know? So if you forget it, what you forget, write it down. Think of it as a grocery list. Write down a list of good sayings. Get curious. If you forget it, instead of just trying to plow through, when I'm just trying to plow through, how about don't just try to plow through, plow ahead. You're not driving a plow. You're not a farmer. You're on a road trip, okay? You're in a sassy car driving down the highway towards someplace fun. All right? Yeah. Aw, I love it. Carla Jane is on a journey. And I love this. I love you being on this journey with yourself. She says she won't overshare. She just clicked it. She got this thing this week. Making boundaries mentally is one of my very best declutters I will ever do. Yeah. Yeah. Boundaries. Noticing where you're thinking and where you're keeping that boundary to yourself. When you're thinking, I'm going to stop, and you stop. Now, other things can help you do those boundaries too, like clocks. When the timer goes off, I will practice keeping that promise to myself. I will promise keeping my word to myself. Carla matters now. Carla has always mattered to me. I am glad that Carla and other people, I am glad that Carla is treating Carla like she matters to herself. Isn't that a wonderful journey? You know? Now, speaking of journeys, and thank you, Judy Dukes, for reminding me with the little heart in airplane. We've got about 3 minutes left, and then I sign off here and I shift gears. Okay. Um, yeah. Now, Robin, notice overwhelm, pitch and ditch room. See this room right here? It used to always be the pitch and ditch room. You can change that. Overwhelm, I want to offer chunking it down. And Carla Jane, thank you. I will have a great trip. Yes, walking out and shutting the door is a habit. I did it myself for years. What you can do when you're feeling better, when you're not feeling overwhelmed, is you can open the door and walk one step in and deal with a little chunk at a time. Okay? Now, if you need a week's notice, I hope even within that week you're chunking it down. Okay. Yeah, I am going to. You know what? So I will be signing off momentarily. I do plan on having fun. Thank you for all the good wishes. And yeah, and that's my destination, is to have a good time on this trip, to realize where I may be getting overwhelmed and cranky and say to myself, do I need a snack or a nap? If I'm getting frustrated on this trip, to say, wait a minute, do I want to feel this way or do I want to let it go? Can I ask for help? Or the answer is, yes, I can. I will ask for help when I need it. I will treat myself well. I will sleep on the plane tonight because we're going to probably hit the ground running tomorrow morning when we get off the plane in Dublin. So, what can I do to make sure that my road trip, my plane trip, my trip through this trip is life, is feeling good, so that while I'm in it, it feels good. And when I'm home and reflecting back on it, a smile is on my face. It's the same concept with life. When you're here right now, looking back and feeling good about what you did when you did it. So I share that with you right now to say, you showing up, listening to what I'm doing right now is helping you. You're going to remember that time back in 2025 when I found this wacky lady on TikTok and then on YouTube, and I started listening to her videos. She really helped me. That's really cool. I look back to 2017 when I heard somebody do the same thing, and I feel honored and lucky and grateful that I learned stuff that changed my life. So I'm passing it along. You know, what is that thing? You keep on passing it along. Okay. I'm going to hit the road. I'm going to get up. I'm going to see if my husband's awake. I'm going to look and see if it's raining, take a shower, get myself ready, and then we're going to hit the road to the airport. I know you're going to do good stuff when I'm away. There are resources available to you, and it's going to make me so proud to know that you do not have to rely on me being here live in order for you to do things, but you are learning how to calm down your nervous system and motivate yourself bit by bit to practice those skills even when I'm not around. Okay. So I'm going to end this stream. Always a pleasure. Oh, Lori Hannah, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for popping in. And I'm glad you love Dublin. You're such a traveler, much like me. Okay. I will see you all next week when I show back up. And I will not have a brogue, but I might have a box of Barry's tea. Okay. See you guys. Bye.